Alright guys, so moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Major Mercury, who asked me to do a Owl House Warhammer crossover. But Multi, I hear you say, you kinda did that not too long ago with Owl House and Gotrek and Felix, and you've done 3 of these already. No, 5 of these. And this is where I'm going to bring up this point real fast. Actually, before we do, as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below in the description box. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the 3rd tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, let's get started with this little announcement. I'm just going to make this rule right now because I have done 5 or 6 Patreon requests involving Warhammer and Owl House crossovers. I'm still fine with Owl House crossovers, I'm still fine with Warhammer crossovers, but I'm not doing another Owl House Warhammer story. I've done 6 of them. Come on, guys, let's be a little more original. Not to be a dick, it's just, I feel like I've done enough. Like, I have done more than enough with Warhammer and Owl House crossing over, and I feel like we're all just kind of limiting ourselves to, like, another idea. You know what I mean? Anyway, so this will be the last Owl House Warhammer crossover I do. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the story begins with a raid, the Emperor's Coven are doing a raid on a group of wild witches who they're arresting, and like Kikimora is like looking over everything and just kind of like examining all the artifacts, because these guys were like consorting with dark relics, and she's kind of like, some of these wild witches turn to like, you know, wild magic, and that wild magic can be pretty dark. And that's when they see, like, this idol of this figure, of this 2-headed bird. And they're like, get rid of that. Kikimora is immediately like, destroy this whole place, kill the wild witches, and burn the whole building down. And the soldiers are like, wait, hang on, like, what? Shouldn't we take these to Belos to be properly tried? And she's like, kill them all. And one of the wild witches says, like, you fear it, don't you? Like, you know what would happen if we got close to Belos, right? Like, the Lord of, you can't stop the Lord of Change. So immediately the wild witches just get immediately massacred. But, however, Kikimora is already, like, of the mindset of, oh shit, this Lord of Change business is, really starting to freak everybody out. So, I gotta report to Belos. So Kikimora explains that, like, we've been finding more of these cults for this god of magic, and Belos is like, it's not god of magic, but we know what it really is and who it really is trying to come through, but we can't seem to find the source of it. Like, they've been doing multiple raids over and over again. The Lords of the Order of Change, as they call themselves, the Fate Weavers, even, they're basically they're escaping. Like, they are just literally like destroy one cult and 2 more take their place. Like, it is of that. It's getting to that level of bad right now with everything going on. So Belos is like, all right, so I got a plan. I have an idea to play with. Like, I think I have an idea that can end 2 problems in one. So what happens, that plan in question that he was talking about, he kidnaps Amity. He kidnaps Amity and also snatches up Willow, and is like, he snatches up both of them. And even sends a messenger to the Owl House and is like, hey, and Hootie is just like, oh boy, I get to break your bones, hoot hoot. But before that, the guard's like, wait, we come up from a message, and of course, like, they're already freaking out because Amity and Willow are missing, and the guard basically explains to Ida and Luz, like, hey, Belos has your friends and is willing to make a trade for you. And Ida and Luz are like, we're not going to trade ourselves because we know you're going to backstab us. And he's like, well, you can't. We're dishonest, and dishonest people are always the best people to trust because they're going to be dishonest. So how about you come. Listen to, come to the Emperor's Palace, we won't attack you, and listen to Belos's proposal. So they have no choice. Ida, King, and Luz go to the Emperor's castle, and Belos is there, and he's just like, so glad you came. I still have your friends, and I'm willing to make a trade. And they're like, no, how do we know this isn't like a moment where you're gonna kill us all right here? And he's like, because I need you for something else. And they're like, you're not getting the key to you're not gonna figure out a way to access the key, the doorway, and all of that. And Belos is just like, this isn't what this is about. What this is about is actually about the fate of the Boiling Isles themselves, and I need your help. And they're like, you could have just reached out to us. And he's like, I know, but would you have listened to me? And Luz is like, no, I wouldn't have. Okay, continue. So Belos explains like a history of the Boiling Isles. He's like, when I first came here, I learned about all of these different cults and whatnot, and beings that came from other worlds that brought magic with them. Like, he basically was like, yeah, I have brought magic to your world, and I didn't bring magic to your world, but some beings did. One of them was a being from another universe, but this being was a god. He was called the Lord of Change, the Mischief Maker, all of these things. And he hailed from a place called the Immaterium. And Ito goes, Tzeentch. You're talking about Tzeentch. And Luz is like, how do you know this? And like, all wild witches looked up to, like, Ida explains, like, all wild witches looked up to Tzeentch. He was like this rebellious god. Like, it said that he claimed that he came with his two other brothers and a sister. They were called the Gods of Chaos, and they all had separate aspects. Tzeentch was the god of magic, and it's always been said that Tzeentch and his followers were the ones who first brought magic to the Boiling Isles before the Titans were wiped out. So he helped bring magic to them after that. Like, he basically helped bring magic to them, but there was a price. And they're like, and Luz is like, how do you know all this? And she goes, I used to be in my younger years a Tzeentch follower, because Tzeentch represented rebellion. He represented, it's kind of like being being a Tzeentch follower in the Boiling Isles is like being a Satanist. Like, you're rejecting, authority, you're rejecting everything. Like, Tzeentch became in the underground a symbol of rebellion, until Ida realized who Tzeentch and what he was and what he was capable of. So she fucking left the Order after finding out what Tzeentch was and what it meant to be a Tzeentch follower. So Belos basically explains that, look, this is the command. You and the girl are going to be a part of a Tzeentch cult, are going to find and infiltrate the Tzeentch cult and take it out from the inside. In return, I will return I'll return the other two. And they're like, how can we trust you? And he's like, you don't, but you don't really have a choice now, do you? So Luz and Ida begrudgingly agree and go about trying to find their way to get into this Tzeentch cult. So Luz is like, so you never told me you were part of a cult of a chaos god? And Ida's like, you have to understand, we didn't know, when Belos started cracking down on, wild witches and whatnot, a lot of, in the early days, Tzeentch represented, again, rebellion. He represented everything. It was cool to have a following, but we didn't realize our belief could actually bring things to us. And through that belief, we saw what Tzeentch was Tzeentch for what he really was. I thought the cult of Tzeentch died off. I thought it died off after Belos really cracked down on him. But there's clearly something more to all of this. There's clearly more to this cult that now that it's back. So Luz and Ida eventually find their way to the cult. And the cult is just like, Sister Ida, some of us remember you from our younger years. Welcome. And we know all of your stories of being, the thorn in Belos's side, and your young ward, Luz. We've heard so many stories of you. May the Lord of Change smile on you. Come. So they're already hyped. They know, Ida's just like, all right, just play along, and maybe we can figure out how to stop them. So they discover that this Tzeentch cult, the cultist of wild witches, is just like they're calling upon Kairos Fate Weaver, the greater demon, the lord, a lord of change, a lord of secret, a lord of change, and he's just this towering two-headed bird sorcerer. And Kairos is like, talking to them and speaking them, and Ida on the inside is like listening to him. And there's this moment where Ida and Luz, Ida's like, she pulls Luz aside and is like, I know, this Kairos Fate Weaver guy, he's evil and all of that, but so is Belos. Like, maybe we can get maybe the cult of Tzeentch is what we need. Like, and I can't betray these other wild witches. Well, what are we gonna do exactly? Like, let's examine that real fast. Like, what is gonna happen when we defeat this cult? If we send Kairos back to, his universe, or back to the Immaterium, what do you think's gonna happen to these wild witches? And Luz is like, yeah, but like Willow and Amity, she's like, I know, we're caught in a morally gray area, and I hate morally gray when I have to be a part of it. So they have to. So Luz and Ida agree, because they realize that Belos is evil, but that thing and what that thing represents is far more malevolent than Belos will ever be. Because and then Kairos' voice goes, or alternatively, I can kill all of you. And then they realize, oh, maybe we should have moved. Maybe we should have talked somewhere else. So Ida and Luz do battle with Kairos, but it's because Kairos Fate Weaver's fucking powerful. Like, he just decimates them, and not to mention the rest of the cult is giving him strength through their belief and also their magic. So Luz and Ida are fighting for their lives against this this unstoppable force. So eventually, they're captured, and Luz makes a gamble. She basically says, like, she's calling out to the cult members, like, you don't understand, like, Tzeentch is pure evil. Like, Tzeentch is, he's not the god you think he is. He's going to betray us all. He's going to kill us all. And, and they're like, better death than, imprisonment under the fascism of Belos. But, Luz explains that we can beat Belos. Like, we can, beat back Belos. We don't need, to fight monsters, we don't need to become monsters or summon them. Especially that giant big bird ripoff. And Kairos is like, you bitch! So Luz's words get to some of the followers, and through that, they start turning on Kairos. But remember, this is still Kairos motherfucking Fate Weaver, so he's still pretty powerful. But, however, Luz manages to use the portal magic to throw Kairos back into the Immaterium. And by that point, Kikimora and the rest of the Emperor's Coven show up, and they're like, Ida, thank you so much for handling the situation. We'll take it from here. And the Wild Witches are like, what? You betrayed us? And she's like, no, you don't understand. But they all get arrested and killed right in front of Ida and Luz. And Kikimora's just like, we can't let Tzeentch's taint spread, so yeah, we might have to kill you too. And that's when Ida just like fucking grabs Kikimora and just starts like pummeling her. Luz actually stops her and proceeds to punch out Kikimora. So they force Belos, she's like, Belos is going to keep his word, he'll give him back to you, but remember, it's, this doesn't change anything. So after Amity and Willow are freed, Luz and Ida are just kind of feeling like they didn't win. Like, yeah, maybe Kairos could have defeated, like, maybe the cult of Tzeentch could have helped, but, like, it just shows that, like, we just compromised our morals to do this. And we got innocent people who were worshipping a chaos god, but they were led astray. So we just compromised everything we were. So no one really wins this one. So there you go, guys. That is the Owl House Warhammer crossover. I want to thank Major Mercury for this crossover and continue Patreon request and continued patronage. And yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Like I said, this is going to be the last Patreon request I ever take of Warhammer Owl House, so I hope I did justice to it. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.